All right. So the midterm elections are coming, and I have been arguing, perhaps rightly, perhaps it'll be proven wrong, that I don't think the issues that define the outcome have happened yet. Certain things have happened that will impact the election. I think the Supreme Court's gerrymandering, racial gerrymandering decision, that could potentially impact the outcome. I think the Supreme Court of South Carolina and that horrific attempted power grab by Abigail Spanberger. But some fascinating things have happened. I talked about this on TV last night. The recent poll out in just the last week and a half, Democrats have lost over 9 points in terms of where they were. And I conclude the reason is this, is that the more people see the Democratic Party embracing the likes of Graham Plattner and James Tallarico and El Sayed in Michigan, the more the American people are going to reject this party. The antics that we played and how stupid they looked in these hearings with Marco Rubio and Scott Besson and Markwayne Mullen, it is not instilling confidence. They don't have an agenda, except it's, wake up in the morning, hate Donald Trump, wash, rinse, repeat, hate him all day long. If he cures cancer, you're still going to hate him. Anyway, here to weigh in on this, we have the one and only Chris Hahn. Now, Chris Hahn has an interesting background. He's a former aide to somebody I think is a moral coward, Chucky Schumer. Chucky Schumer can't even take a position on Mamdani. Couldn't take a position on Graham Plattner. Not taking a position on Mr. Six Gender. My female neighbor is a neighbor with a uterus, or that God is non-binary, and all the craziness that along with him, because Chuck Schumer deep down knows he's got no power. He, like Hakeem Jeffries, they're, quote, minority leaders in name only. And I find it pretty obnoxious. But anyway, this is what the party has become. Chuck Schumer dare not take on the radicals that control his party. Same with Hakeem Jeffries. And by that, I mean, they're not going to criticize Graham Plattner. They're going to try to work behind the scenes and get him to drop out if he wins the primary. Maybe they'll be successful. I don't think so, but it's possible. I think they're thinking about it. That main provision that I've been talking about. They will go hard, deep in the paint and try and support Tallarico. They will be wasting tens and tens of millions of dollars. Tallarico is not going to be the next senator from Maine. But then it's the party of Mamdani, and it's the party of Grandpa Bernie, and it's the party of Pocahontas, and it's the party of the Squad, and it's the party of radicalism. And the one voice of sanity now in the Democratic Party is a friend of this program, John Fetterman. He was on TV last night. Anyway, Chris Hahn, he hosts his own progressive podcast, and former aide to Chucky Schumer, also pollster. Our friend Doug Schoen is with us. All right, Chris Hahn, I want to know why your party can't condemn, let's see, the guy with the Nazi tattoo, the guy that said horrible things about victims of sexual assault, the guy that actually referred to people in his home state as bigoted and ignorant. I thought that was a little over the top. And then, of course, the other guy that thinks that there's 6 genders, not 2 genders, that God is non-binary, that wants a welcome mat on the southern border, that wants to run a vegan campaign in Texas, and a guy that is against oil and energy in Texas. Which of these people have you condemned?
Well, I was with Mills, as was Chuck Schumer. And
I didn't ask you that. Well, Chuck Schumer had a chance to condemn Plattner yesterday. He punted as usual.
The party did not want Graham Plattner. They wanted Janet Mills, the incumbent governor, who's very popular in the state of Maine, and who would be ahead by 15 points right now in a general election matchup.
Not the point, because they're supporting, the guy had a Nazi tattoo. The guy said horrible things about women that get raped. He said horrible things about heroes in the military. And Kristen Gillibrand yesterday, oh yeah, we're going to support him.
Well,
and Chuck Schumer wouldn't condemn this guy.
In Texas,
that speaks volumes.
In Texas, Republicans are supporting Ken Paxton. They said horrible things about Ken Paxton.
Okay, who has the moral high ground here?
a long time.
How about if a guy had a Nazi tattoo for 20 years, maybe the party should have condemned him then?
I think
If he attacks victims of sexual assault, maybe distance yourself then.
I'm pretty sure we did.
No, stop. Not pretty sure. You're wrong.
No,
You're dead wrong.
they put another candidate up against him.
That was from the beginning. She bowed out, and all the Democrats coalesced around the guy with the Nazi tattoo that he blacked out only because he's running for office.
Well, look, as the grandson of a Holocaust survivor, I had a real problem with that Nazi tattoo.
Well, why don't you call your buddy Chuck and say, I cannot support Graham Plattner or James Tallarico?
I'll tell you what, when John
Because he's gutless.
Paxton, maybe we'll make that deal. How about that? Because Paxton is a horrible...
Okay, Chris, I'm talking about your party. Your party's been taken over by radicals, and the guy you worked for doesn't have the moral clarity, courage to challenge the nuts that run your party.
Agree that the party's been taken over by radicals. I think the primary in Iowa was very clear that it has not.
Okay, nice spin job. I don't think Doug Schoen is going to agree with you. Doug.
Sean, Chuck Schumer believes in regime change in Jerusalem, but not in Tehran. Do I need to say anything more?
Not really.
I'll answer your questions directly in the way that Chris did not. Plattner is an abomination. If Swalwell can't run because of sexual harassment, why can Plattner run given the Nazi tattoo, his misogynistic behavior, and his extreme radicalism? I don't get it. I can't, as somebody, and I respect Chris and certainly his family, but somebody who had relatives, myself, in Europe in the 1930s, how can I support this man? He says what's going on in Israel is genocide and apartheid. In Gaza is genocide and apartheid on the West Bank. This is an abomination. It's pretty simple. We need Fetterman-like Democrats to have a chance to win. The greatest asset the Republicans have are these far-left Democrats. Is this not clear, Sean? Am I being evasive?
Listen, historical trends, and you're a great pollster, Doug, and I've known you for decades.
Yeah.
And historical trends would otherwise favor Democrats, but not this group of extremists. And then the rest of the party has this fear that they can't speak out against the crazy in their party, the Mamdanis of their party, the Plattners, the Tallaricos, the AOCs, the squad. They're not going to touch it. They're not going to touch Grandpa Bernie because they know if they dared to do that, they would be out of leadership, probably out of office in no time.
Well, of course, but this is about right and wrong, Sean, not about party loyalty. I mean, I'm glad that Chris likes Janet Mills. I was for her, too. But we got to deal with the world that is, not the world that he hoped it would be or Schumer hoped it would be. Why can't we be intellectually honest, Sean?
What are we supposed to do if he's the nominee? Are we supposed to then go ahead and support the Republican incumbent who is just slightly better on Trump issues than most other, lapdogs to the president? Look,
Chris, I'm going to push you because Doug brought it up. You don't ever answer a freaking question. I am asking specifically about the people that now run your party. And all you want to do is you want to transition and talk about Republicans and Trump. We can have that discussion, but I want to hear you say what Doug said. I want to know if you find these people morally repugnant. I want to hear that your old boss is lacking moral clarity and you're disappointed in him.
I find Graham Plattner morally repugnant.
How about James Tallarico? By the way, do you think there are 6 genders?
Absolutely wrong about James Tallarico.
Oh, really?
I think Doug will agree with me.
Do you think there are 6 genders?
the moral choice in Texas would be
Doug, was that a straightforward question?
who is a felon, who is a criminal.
I am okay. I'm not asking you about Ken Powell. I'm asking you about James Tallarico. He's running in Texas. He thinks there are 6 genders. Do you agree with him?
I don't.
It's
Thank you, Doug.
or Tallarico.
Well, let me ask you. He wants a welcome mat on the southern border. He thinks God is non-binary. I mean, do you agree with those positions?
I know you've been playing that God is non-binary quote. I think it's completely out of context.
I have. Oh, whoa.
Well, what
Thank God for the audio tape.
Tell me what.
Because I don't take things out of context. Let us play it.
God,
for this one.
Trinity. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So, what is the Holy Spirit? Is that
Well, he said God is non-binary. So all these years as a Christian, I've been saying, "Our Father who art in heaven." I guess I'm wrong. Let's play Tallarico here.
The first 2 lines in Genesis use 2 different Hebrew words to describe God. One is the masculine Hebrew noun for divinity. The second is the feminine Hebrew noun for spirit. God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
Now, Chris Hahn, you just lied to my audience and to me. You said he never said that. I just played it for you. Say, I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
taking it out of context?
I'm sorry, Sean's audience.
Sorry, Sean, but you are not a seminarian. You're a lot of things. You are not a...
Excuse me. I actually did study Latin and theology and went to seminary, high school for 4 years. I went to Mass every day. I study the Bible almost every day of my life.
Okay, right. So then you understand that there's a Father, a Son, and a Holy Spirit.
It's called the Trinity, if you want to put a name to it. All right, quick break. Right back. We'll have more with Doug Schoen, Chris Hahn on the other side. Then your calls coming up. 800-941-SEAN, our number if you want to be a part of the program.
Exposing, uncovering, unpacking the lies of the left every day. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
We continue with former Schumer aide Chris Hahn of the Chris Hahn podcast, and Doug Schoen is with us, Democratic pollster. All right, let me go to Doug because Doug will straighten you out. Doug, did I take out of context James Tallarico's words?
No, of course you didn't. It's pretty simple, Sean. This is not rocket science.
Well, maybe Chris can inform us then, Doug. Tell us what the other four genders are. I'm very interested. What are the other four genders?
I am not a gender scientist. What you said was...
But you're supporting somebody that claims there's 6 genders.
What? Okay. Look, if you want to run the campaign of 2024 again, you would have had to done good on the economy. You would have had to have done well in foreign policy. You would have had
doing great in foreign policy, and the border's secure, and we have GDP growth close to 3%. And yeah, we have rid the world of a nuclear-armed Iran, which the president, I don't think, had any choice but to do it. Is that a good thing?
The president has made Iran more dangerous. Period.
Oh, you're making it so Iran having their nuclear reactors blown to smithereens, and the president insisting on recovering the dust, you're saying makes the world less safe.
The president has told Iran, you want to hold the world hostage? You don't need a nuclear bomb. Get a couple guys with shoulder-launched grenades to stand at the Strait of Hormuz in places where they can't be seen. And you.
Let me ask you, Doug, do you agree with Mr. Hahn?
Sean, I'm still a Democrat. There's much that Donald Trump has done that I object to. So I'm not abandoning my party. But how can you, as a rational person, say anything other than thank you, Mr. President, for degrading their regime, degrading their military, and degrading their nuclear program? I could disagree about aspects of policy But for goodness sake, this is the greatest friend of Israel we've ever had. And I can tell you, every Israeli prime minister that I've dealt with, and I've dealt with 5, all of them believe that the threat of Iran is an existential one to our nation and our world.
Chris Hahn, do you think Mamdani, his wife, his family are anti-Israel?
I don't know what's in their heart. And I think he's doing a fine there. I think he's got a great police committee.
Really?
I think the city's cleaner. I think the city's working, and that's his job. He's not a foreign policy ambassador.
Let me tell you the beauty of this conversation. There is a beauty here.
Yes.
And I've got to go. I'm going to let you guys go. But I'm going to tell you the beauty of this.
You know, our country, $39 trillion in debt. That's a lot of money. When I was young, somebody got a hold of me. When I first was able to start saving money in my life, he said, diversify your portfolio. Put a percentage in gold and silver. I've done it. One of the best decisions I've ever made. This is what I love about Goldco. I am a customer of Goldco. And you know what? They like people that are informed about precious metals. They'll send you their free gold and silver guide, help you get started in that process, you know, so you are informed, so you know what you're doing. At least you have confidence in what you are doing. Another couple of things about Goldco. If you have a retirement account, well, maybe a percentage you can put, like if you have $50,000, whatever it happens to be, in, you know, diversification. Look into it. You decide ultimately based on the information that is out there and currently available. Now, they also have up to a 10% match in gold and silver that you might qualify for, and you definitely have to look into it. But I'm telling you, just as a customer, I'm a customer, it's just great to do business with. I think you're going to like them. Anyway, go to HannityGold.com right now. And by the way, definitely, you know, click on the link that is down there. You can see it right with your own eyes, right there. Very button. Click on that too. But I don't think you'll be disappointed. Great company to do business with. 1-855-GOLD.